Hi everyone, this is My Frequency. My name is Dania and today we're going to be talking about Stel Leo and his music. So, tell us about where you're from and what was your first memory about music?
Well, I grew up in Bermuda. I still go home for main holidays, it's still where my parents reside. But I've been in Massachusetts for school since I was about 13. And as far as my first music encounter, I was maybe 5 or 6 when my parents first took me to piano lessons, where I got classically trained in piano. And then after maybe like 4 or 5 years of piano lessons, I quit it because I hated to practice, never liked to practice it, like the instrument. And then I gave it up to take guitar and drum lessons because at that point in my life I was fixated on being the rock star, you know, or like...
So how did that work out?
It didn't, because when I was younger, maybe when I was like 12, 13, and I was playing with different bands and friends, I played drums and guitar, so whenever I played in a band when I was playing guitar, I'd want to like take the drumsticks from the drummer, tell him exactly how to play the drum groove, and then when I was like playing drums in a band, I wanted to get on guitar and like show the guitarist how I wanted the lead to sound or whatever. And it wasn't until I was about 12 that I started messing around with GarageBand. And I didn't know that that was going to be the path that I went down, but I remember a sense of finally being like, oh, now I can do the guitar and the drums and the tuba and the synth stuff, and you know, I could just be the whole band for the first time in my life.
That's amazing.
Which was pretty powerful for me as a 12-year-old. And then it took me until like I was 15 to get more serious about it, and then I was talking to my parents about how I really spent a lot of time doing this computer music stuff, and I was getting pretty passionate about it, but GarageBand had its limitations. And then I remember for my 15th birthday, my parents got me Logic Pro 9, and that's been my like go-to thing ever since. Like I'm currently at Berklee College of Music, studying electronic production design, so we learn all sorts of DAWs and sound design and whatnot, but I'm still primarily with Logic 9, although I incorporate like Ableton, Pro Tools for mixing and mastering and stuff like that, or depending on who I'm collaborating with, I can usually, you know, come up with some sort of compromise and bounce around different DAWs, or like, this is what I want to do. Like a lot of my friends, I'm a part of this collective called Friends with Robots at Berklee, which is just me and a bunch of my contemporaries in my electronic production design major, all working together to push each other to get better. We're releasing monthly mixtapes, putting on shows, doing artist spotlight interviews kind of like this, and just trying to bring to light the talent that does what we do in the Boston area.
That's really nice, that's great. So tell me more about your music influences, who you listen to.
Oh boy, well...
Who inspired you?
Yeah. When I was younger, I primarily was listening to just like classic rock and roll bands, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, that good foundation, you know. Punk rock, like pop punk, Blink-182. I can remember before I was even into like production, like I remember listening to Blink-182 and being like, this is why I want to learn guitar. Like I want to do what Tom DeLonge does.
Yeah,
So,
Blink-182 was a big
that was definitely the band that pushed me into like wanting to be doing something creative with audio. Also, Smashing Pumpkins was a huge one when I was young. I remember for my 13th birthday, while it was my first year at boarding school, my brother went to the same boarding school, and he organized a school trip to drive, because the boarding school was in Western Massachusetts, but he organized a school trip out to Boston, and I saw Smashing Pumpkins for the first time, and I just remember like the accuracy and perfectionism of the show was so baffling, because like when they performed, it was literally like I was listening to the album. It was nuts. Like I've never seen a tighter band than Smashing Pumpkins live. It was super crazy. And then nowadays I listen to so much different stuff, everything from some like, I don't know, I'll listen to like Sergio Mendes in my free time. Get that like Brazilian feel. But as far as electronic music goes, I've always been influenced by hip hop producers, especially like Kanye, Pharrell. That soul sampled hip hop beat sort of thing was definitely a big part of my foundation as a producer. Like that's what I was trying to make when I first started messing around. And I think you can still hear, although now I'm more influenced by like the Diplos and I don't know, I like the whole Jersey club scene. Well, more the post-Jersey club. I'm not too like interested in all that Fofo Fadi, that squeaking stuff, although I've used it before. I just think it's kind of on the way out right now. But I like all this stuff that's, you know, clearly pushing towards the future, but still influenced with that like R&B sort of vocal cut being the main aspect of the songs. And like, oh, Lito too. Lito's the most amazing producer right now, in my opinion. I haven't been obsessed with a producer like I'm obsessed with Lito right now in a long, long time. Probably since I probably haven't been obsessed with a producer like Lito since I first got obsessed with like Pharrell in like the early 2000s.
What about mentors? Do you have any musical mentors that you listen to a lot and you get your ideas from? Or
as far as having a mentor for like my style, I'd say that I don't have a mentor that like shows me what to do. I kind of just funnel in all the music that I'm listening to and pop culture and then push it back out with my own taste on it. But when I first started producing, while I was still doing it as a hobby and like just doing it out of sheer, you know, just as a pastime, my friend Harry Dunkley, known as DJ Choppadunks, shout out by the way, he took me under his wing while I was doing a summer program at Berkeley while I was still in high school. And although I had been like using Logic for a while, that was the first time where I remember being in the program and like I would sneak out of the dormitories at night and like go hang out with him and his friends out in Roxbury, and they were all they would do was be like producing house music and Moombahton and stuff like that. And I'd never like, and I was making like hip hop beats, so there wasn't like, I didn't know so much about dance music or like the specificity of like certain genres in dance music. But that summer, Harry took me under his wing and showed me a lot of production tips and put me, like, gave me more knowledge of styles while I was still young before I really knew, before I even knew, okay, house music is like 128 BPM on the time, go to 110. I would just choose a BPM that felt right, which I still do, you know, but that was like that foundation of here's like a repertoire of different types of dance music, like learn each aspect, genre-specific aspects of these styles, and then absorb them all and then make something that's still your own, but in some way has put a new spin on things that are fresh and hip.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to say that if I ever had a mentor, it would be DJ Choppadunks.
So what projects are you working on right now?
I just put out a Gwen Stefani bootleg remix of her new track, Baby Don't Lie. Check that out on my SoundCloud.
What's her SoundCloud?
It's soundcloud.com/Stel Leo. That's STELLEO. And been working on a lot of stuff for my collective, Friends with Robots. Keep your eyes on the interwebs for the Friends with Robots November mixtape. I have, actually speaking of DJ Chop and Dunks, I have a remix of him and Gesture's track Dutty Wine that's coming out on that tape, and I can easily say it's probably my most filthy, disgusting track ever. So definitely one to keep your eyes open for because that shit's banger.
Who do you want to work with in the future?
I wouldn't mind getting on a circuit soon, working with a manager so I can play my music to bigger crowds and stuff like that, but as far as the scene goes, I'm not a big activist of the scene. But artists to work with, I'm interested in working with vocalists, although I've been doing some of my own vocal work recently. I have a song called I Told You, which is pretty much finished right now. Completely original. It's my first completely original vocal lines. I did all the writing, the production, the recording, the mastering, mixing, and I'm just looking for a good outlet to release it on because usually I just put my thing on my, put the track out on my SoundCloud and let it fly, see who likes it, see who reposts it, and it'll do as well as it does. Like, I haven't been too worried about like how I go about releasing my music, as long as people hear it. You know, the internet's crazy nowadays. Like, it doesn't really matter if it's good, it'll be recognized. But for this one specifically, since it's like, I don't know, usually I just do like remixes and bootlegs, this one's kind of like special to me. So I want to, I don't know, it's pretty much done. I just want to find a good outlet for it. So another track to keep your eyes peeled for. I Told You, Stel Leo original, coming out indefinitely, but hopefully soon.
Check it out in his SoundCloud, which is?
SoundCloud.com/Stel Leo, that's STELLEO. Check out SoundCloud.com/Friends with Robots, my collective, all good stuff.
Awesome. Do you have a page on Facebook as well?
I do. If you look up Stel Leo, same spelling, STEL space LEO, my artist page should come up. Check my stuff out there. It's where I host most of my free downloads. So if you ever see some of my songs on SoundCloud, the download links will link you to my Facebook page where you can like it to get the free downloads.
Alright, well, thank you for having
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
this time with us, and you're going to be on my frequency soon again.
Ciao.